Good morning. I shaved. Today I'm going to be playing the role of a businessman in two different scenes. Well, one's more of a father and the other one's a businessman. I guess I just got out of the shower, just put this shirt on, and it looks like that shower water did not affect the hairline in any way whatsoever, so there's no touch-ups required with the poly system. Now that it's been bleached as well, it blends into my skin tone better. Still got the chemical burn from trying to bleach my hair yesterday. Still got this gigantic AIDS pus mark from the removal of my skin tag. I got this stuff from a play I was in last year. Let's take that with me. Okay, so instead of using the usual muck, which basically turns it into thick collective strings of hair, I'm going to use just wax, standard wax. And rub it in my hands like this. Make it all wet so it slides through nicely. Making sure there are no chunks of wax in my fingers, because otherwise they'll get caught up in the hair. As you can see, it goes straight up from the front hairline, straight back. Tiny lip just lifted there. That must have been pasted down. Don't forget, this is only the second day I've had it, so I didn't get to do any proper checking on what's glued down properly, but nothing along here is lifting. But I think there's probably a slight amount of glue over there, so I'm just going to press it back down. Also, I'm getting the feeling that I might be able to reuse the poly, despite what they say, simply by making sure I'm in a hot room and then just peel off the poly. You saw how I ripped it off in the other video, right? I just ripped off and it remained intact until I started snipping at it, because it was attacking me. So, I'm going to go with a brushed back look today. Not completely brushed back, I'm going to brush it back and then to the side. I'm going to wait for it to dry just a little bit. I'm not going to rush out the door right now. Don't have a hairdryer. By the way, I used to have very curly hair when I had natural hair. So this hair behaves a million times better than my natural hair ever did, so I'm really happy about that. The reason I want it to dry a bit is because if it's dry, it'll stay when I apply big, sexy hair. But if it's still wet, then it might move. I look like I've got AIDS, seriously. Got shiny shoes. I think those pants are a bit baggy and kind of cheap. So was a shirt. Shirt was $20, pants were $20. Shoes were $289. And I had to murder a baby to make them. Those pants are not good. They look like shit actually. Should probably go with other pants, but no. This will do, they fit me. Not really big, but So what I generally do is I brush it back, spray it, and then while the spray is sitting, I just go honk. So it sort of lands all like that. But I guess I can squish it down a bit even after it all dries. So. But again, once your hairpiece is on, you have to do your hair like it's all one thing, right? You know, go hairpiece styling and then natural hair styling. So happy with the appearance in sunlight so far of this poly perimeter with the poly hairline with the bleached front. Without the bleached front, it was nonsense. It was a wall, a barricade of hair. So it was necessary to bleach that front for pale skin to dark hair. You can't just transition straight into black. It just looks ridiculous. That bleaching of the front hairline made it okay. These ones here, they're probably not going to bleach, even though they've been sitting there for maybe 12 hours. Because I've been told by people just before, I'm pretty sure it's true. Lord Hair started using clothing dye. She entered the company. I'm not going to use a company that uses clothing dye. You can't bleach the knots. They can't even bleach their own knots. It's impossible. It's cheaper for them to use clothing dye. So they'll save money, but they'll be using that shit. And if they started using that on poly when I couldn't even do this effect, game over. There's no chance I'll ever use them again. But I can't buy their lace anymore. That's game over for that. Probably buying custom pieces all the time, waiting 2 months for delivery. Nonsense. Okay, so that hairspray is going to set it into position. Might add some more so that I'll take it to video school. I'll apply more in the car. A car mirror is no good though. You've got to take I'll take at least this. That's what I got. This thing came with the light batteries, so you can have the light shine up on your face. It's got the magnifying side as well. Okay, so this is straight out of the shower. Watch the hairbrush go straight from my forehead into the hairline without lifting the lip, see? It doesn't care. That bit over there will care because it's not glued down properly, but this part all on the front, I still would encourage it. This has got little orange nubs, so it's not sharp brush, and I'm definitely not doing that. I'll fucking hate it. So this is the best hairpiece I've ever worn. Like coming out of the shower and no maintenance, unheard of with lace. I'm just doing my hair and I'm out of here. This is the answer, I swear. Aside from that wall of hair that was a problem that I've got rid of now because of there might be some shine along the front there. There's that perimeter problem if you don't line it up properly, but if you do line it up properly, that problem doesn't exist. So if there's a mismatch between the density here and the density up here, it's simply because I'm balding more than I think I am. And I've got to get a larger piece. But I get the feeling you could pre-glue the poly if you have a full cap that goes from there to there. I still don't know what full cap means. Full cap might include sideburns and everything, but anyway, this is the whole crown and everything I'm talking about. If you pre-glued the poly halfway up and then just used a mirror and, well, it has to be mounted, you're going to have to figure that out because you can't do this. And use 2 hands to put the thing on, right? And then you have to navigate your way through backwards like that. Then you could just place it down back there where you can actually get it lined up nicely, whatever's sort of happening on the back of your head, and then just glue the front, or just keep gluing up on the poly system that's already on your head, or on there as well, and then just make it line back down. Ta-da, right? That's how you do it. With lace, I don't know how you do it. You have to pre-glue your own hairline with lace, and then you've got the 30-second problem. With the poly being pre-glued, you don't have that problem anymore, so there's an improvement. The overheating problem could be solved with some sort of fork being prodded through this poly, but without ripping hairs through, just tiny holes so that steam can shh out of your head without it getting caught. If there's glue all the way through, then it won't penetrate. I mean, acrylic glue, like Walk Ultra Hold. But still the heat can get out. But you don't want water getting in and being caught by the poly in between, because that would just cause a bubble of water to be walking around inside your head cap. It's not good. So yeah, I'm just talking about making holes for the purpose of heat escape, heat chimneys. That's all. Alright, wish me a good day at school. Thanks. You too. Have a good day at work. What do you do? Hey guys, it's 20 hours since I put on this poly hairpiece, and I went to acting class today, and like I said, I was being filmed, and my teacher just said that was outstanding work, just losing weight. Okay, my hair was back, brushed back like this, because my character is a powerful kind of media mogul kind of type character. Lights are still green, but there's a bit of a traffic build-up. I just want to lean forward and show you this a bit. That's poly. Slept with the poly on my head, had a shower, no clean up, just easy. It's been fantastic all day. I haven't got any heat in this current weather that I'm in. I'm in a hot car now because it's got the heater on. But I've got to say, I love this fucking thing. I can't feel it at all. I feel very confident in terms of showing the front hairline to people, apart from that fucking chemical burn. And now I think I kind of feel like I've solved it to a massive degree. I think if you get yourself a 0.03mm poly hairpiece and cut it to your scalp, it is way better than lace. You'll find the same problems that I did with the V-loops if you've got dark hair or dark skin, because it looks dodgy as shit, right? But no right turn on a punt road, are you fucking kidding me? Oh shit. Anyway, so here we go. Look, get a massive finder from some holding this thing. Anyway, can you see? Okay, so the spacing is 1 bump, 2 bump, 3 bump. You see how those bumps are spaced up, and I'd say on top of that bump, that's where the front hairline should start. If you are trying to figure out the spot where the hairline should begin, after the top forehead wrinkle, that same spacing there is there, just that's where it should begin there. And then come up at the temples, just slightly a bit, right? I think it really looks like it suits somebody of my age. But yeah, the double chin and everything, that's got to go. And he's, yeah, my teacher, he said you've got a marketable face. That's good, okay. And your acting is brilliant, as always. So, I might move from doing hair videos, just keep using this system forever now. No, don't go back to lace anymore. Just keep doing this. And I get the feeling that I could potentially remove the poly and reapply it, despite what I said. It was just that I read that you couldn't reuse the poly because you'd stretch it. But obviously, if you put yourself in a hot room, then you could heat up the glue and then just peel it off. Not that I'm saying that if it was hot and sticky in summer and your head was hot, that your hairpiece would slide off if you dove into a pool. I don't think it really would. But with enough force, while your head is very hot,
I think the glue would have melted to the amount that you need to just peel it off. You wouldn't even really need to wash it with anything more than just a bit of shampoo and water. Leave some of the soap, leave some of the glue on it, doesn't matter, and just paint more glue onto it. Paint more glue in here if you want to as well, or whatever, and just put it back down. I don't think there's a problem reusing poly for a long time, but make sure you do what I did and bleach the front hairline, preferably when it's not on your head, just in case you get the adverse reaction like I did and start blistering and going red. So yeah, that's that front bleaching. Unless they start using clothing dye on this as well, you can't trust that they won't. They did it with the lace, which means those lace knots are unbleachable, completely gone. And they sold it to me like that, and there's nothing I can do to fix it myself. There's no way I'm fucking wearing that shit, of course. Gonna go pick up a car. I've got one sitting in a garage, but he hasn't got time to work on it, so I guess I'll drop off this vehicle and then get an Uber to that other vehicle, pick it up, and take it to another garage. It's just dodgy. I could have stopped. Anyway, I think this is the ultimate solution. Even though there is a wall of hair, there's a barricade of hair with the way the V-loops are just going like a fortress. But the bleach makes it okay. And this is probably a problem that only people with dark hair on pale skin have, but there are a lot of people with dark hair on pale skin. So I'm hoping that a lot of you will get something out of this. If you've got dark skin and dark hair, I think you probably have unbleached knots almost. And in terms of, but not if you just sort of, you know, if you've got light brown skin, that's not going to help you. You would see that. But if you've got black skin, I think you'd be right. And if you've got white skin or pale skin and blonde hair, well, let's just hope that your knots aren't visible at all. Because they would have provided blonde hair for you, hopefully. But I'm not sure how it would go for them in the factory to take Indian hair, which is the cheapest, and that's what they'd probably be using, and then bleaching that blonde to try to get your hair colour. And I've spoken before about using blonde hair as a foundation for all hair pieces, just so that you can get the roots coming out very fine, like invisibly almost, and make sure the knots are not visible because they'd be blonde and therefore they'd be the same colour as the webbing, the lace. But because of the problem of the glue showing through lace in summertime and all the cleanup you have to do, the fact that you can't pre-glue it, like just considering the idea that a lot of the people I'm talking to here, you have to go back beyond, you know, what you can see in a front-facing mirror. You have to go back to the top and back of your head with your, you know, scalp preparation and make a gigantic hairpiece. Compared to mine, mine's probably fairly small, really. Just I'm trying to cover the recessions. On bicycles, you know that I'm a car, don't you? Alright. So what I'm saying is, with poly, you know, you can pre-glue the base. So if you pre-glued the base, then you could use the mirror up there without having the front part sticky at all. Don't put glue on the front part of it. Place that down here, and then once that's affixed, then just get the paintbrush, the glue brush, and brush and paint color in the rest of it, or just glue the scalp from the point that you can actually see in the mirror in front of you. That's why you just do it in two sections, not all at once. Then you could do it on your own. You just need a 45-degree angled mirror to get the first part down. But because of the risk of the whole thing collapsing into a, oh my god, it's stuck together, which I've never had to worry about because mine's too short, but I can imagine it would just be very heavy with all that glue on it and just flop in half. I'd say just do it in two halves. So pre-glue half of the hairpiece, stick it back down here with the aid of a 45-degree mirror. You'll need the mirror to be self-standing, so you can use two hands. I'm just guessing, but I know the laws of physics. This would work, of course it would work. And then glue the rest of your scalp the way you want it. And then if you don't want to try and guess what this front section is going to be, leave all of that blank. And then when the poly's down to there and there's no glue around the front rim, just glue the poly, and so that's the third section, and then it'll be perfect. And there's no need to mark out where your front hairline will be. Except, you know, when you've stuck it back down here, you make sure it's not, you know, flopping down that way. You make sure it's aligned to land there, but there's no glue on it, so you can freely adjust the back pivot and then sit it down exactly the way you want it. I'm sure I can't show you that. I'm not willing to shave my head all around just to give you an example, but if you have done that, please let me know, because pre-gluing absolutely works. And from this point, I need to simply lose weight, obviously get some sleep, and continue using this system until something better comes along, because there is nothing better, and I've tried a lot of different things. So I hope my guinea pig experiments on myself have helped you, but I think it's been kind of solved in terms of what's presently available. So now I might just start talking about how fucking fat I am and become like a gym junkie or something. Or maybe just watch some YouTube videos, or jack off on my front instead of my back, because that's a bit of a lazy way to jack off, really, isn't it? Especially when you've got the machine doing all the work. So that would build the stomach muscles, but the abs aren't going to be seen unless you lose weight, which means walking it off, or, you know, having more liquid than solid. I did do a liquid diet once, which was just soup and diet shakes. I never went hungry, and I lost 22 kilograms in 8 weeks. A lot of diarrhea, which is, you know, good. You're just getting rid of everything. Smoking, solved with this. Mine contains 18 milligrams of tar from, is it Notebook or something like that? And it's enjoyable for a smoker, and there's no ash. I can put this in my pocket and just pull it out and have another drag. Doesn't matter. Smoking's been solved. Hair's been solved. Teeth. They look yellow from here, but I can promise you they are absolutely A1. So, yeah. Those teeth have recently been porcelain veneered. But just with this camera, it doesn't always show. What? Got x-rays for my toe in here. A broken toe, I think. So fixing these little things, that'll heal, that's nothing. That'll heal. Got the mole removed from my neck. My nose, it used to be like that shape because it was broken in a football accident, and then they straightened it up and took cartilage from different parts of it so it doesn't bow anymore. So I guess you could say I had a nose job. Can't remove the freckles. That was the big thing as a kid. Then I went from freckles to pimples. They went away. Freckles didn't go away. Not much I can do about that, but I think a freckly muscle man is probably more attractive than a non-freckly fat man, like a tanned fat man. I reckon. Well, some people are probably just racist and just say, you know, you got freckles, you're a ranger, get the fuck out of here, right? Look, did you read the sign? We don't serve your kind here. That's the way I feel like I've been treated most of my life, and I've just come to accept it and been very humble and tried to, you know, use my comedy and so on to try and get some kind of attention, or not be, you know, dismissed as not worthy of respect. It didn't always work because my jokes are hit and miss, but at least it gave me some sort of charisma. Plus my dad was a loudmouth. But being a loudmouth doesn't always work. Not everybody enjoys the fool, as they say in Vikings. I was actually The Kingdom, I think it's called. The Last Kingdom. That's the English version of Vikings, isn't it? Anyway, I've got to go get an Uber and get onto this car that's waiting for me before they shut. In the next episode, I think that you can look forward to seeing me pull my tits out and tell you how I'm going to lose them and all sorts of stuff. And just a whole lot of back fat and like hairy shoulders and stuff, and we might talk about that a bit more. But if your problem was just that you were bald, it's solved. By the way, I might continue to tell you how it's going, if there's any flip back or any problems with salt water and affecting the glue and everything. But, you know, Walker Ultra Hold, the problem has been solved in terms of the shine coming through because there's no lace for it to worm its way up through. Oh yeah, and I guess I'm going to have to wear a hat and a helmet to test those things out. But I can almost guarantee there's not going to be any problem whatsoever, except for messing up your hair like it would mess up the hair of somebody who had a natural head of hair. Also, I can't feel that there'd be any degradation in the glue hold over time. There might be, but I won't see it. Nobody else will either. I guess I'll just wait until the thing gets itchy and a colony of bacteria start walking over my head. Maybe I'll find it on the other side of the room in about 5 months. When I wake up, it'll be on the other side of the room because my bacterial colonies, you know, started evolving and creating a little portable city, and they've dragged it over to the other side of the room or something. I'm like, hey, no, you get back here. And I'm going to have to wash you all off now and reuse it. I don't know. I don't think 5 months is realistic, but this thing does not want to give me any problems. So just get a poly piece. I think it'll last for a very long time. That's my guess. This is only 20 hours, so I might be optimistic. The cleaning of the hairline, if you wear your hair back, I can't imagine that much is going to hang over and flip around all over it. Surely there's dust in the atmosphere and stuff that will eventually stick, but just running my finger, look, there's nothing going to lift up there. It's seamless. It's so close to being this height of my actual skin. There could become a problem if it becomes shiny, and I haven't had a look really in the mirror to see what other people see when it's sunny. There could be a problem with that, but I can't see it. In terms of that front rim, which is cut right back to where those hairs are, by the way. There's nothing sticking forward of the hairs in terms of an excess piece of plastic from the perimeter. Where the hairs begin, that's the very front edge. So there's no excess at all. Despite what I said in a couple of videos ago where I thought you'd needed that front edge to try to blend it. But the answer was not to do that, but rather just bleach the front. How does that look to you? Is it perfect? It feels perfect. Not that I think this is a great hairstyle, it's just that, you know, as a tycoon, I've got to kind of have that look of authority. Yeah, so StickOnHair. If this stuff came, I'm just trying to think of the best way it would come if it was to be made pre-glued from the factory. With, you know, with an adhesive on the back, and then you cut it to your size with a stencil. I guess the thing is, you will have to have your own stencil, no matter what. And then maybe if the company would just cut out a bunch of these things for you. I know that Lord Hair charges $10 to cut your stencil into a hairpiece, but I don't know if they'd do it for the same deal, right? As, you know, maybe I needed 3, right? So that'd be $30 probably, on top of the $400 that they charge for the pack of 3. So that could be $430 instead of $400. But they often have kind of promotions and stuff as well. Yeah. It's highly disappointing that I had to figure this out without the help of a hair company. But really, this was always the way it was going to happen. like I've said many times, hair companies cut corners to maximize their profits. They don't seem to do any testing or any kind of realistic reviews from people. So it's just from the honesty of people who wear hair, like me, for example, who just tell you the way it actually is. And I don't think you should have to go through trial and error when I've already done it for you. That's why I'm your guinea pig, right? That's why you keep my wheel spinning and you give me my little bottle of water with all your likes. So I think the experimentation has been successful, and when you've got the stencil measured correctly, I think, as I say, you begin your hairline from one bump distance when you lift your eyebrows and you've got these wrinkles. The one above that is the same distance as there, so that's where your hairline starts there. At the same equidistant bump, right? Just start from there. And that's where the front middle of the hairpiece will be. And then make a symmetrical front hairline using a stencil, and then you've got to trace off where your baby hairs are finishing. Obviously, there could be a problem back here with me thinning up here, so it might mean that I have to continue that, but the front hairline will not change. And it would almost be universal that this would be the same front hairline for everyone, but just with different width heads. You might only have 4 different types of different heads. And given that everyone's really going to come back there like that, with a curve, you could just say, how far back do you want that? If this is going to be the front shaped like that every single time, because everyone wants this exact same shape, but with different widths, then the back would be just different. You just make that with different lengths going back to finish there or there or there or there or there, and then people would just be forced to shave their head in that pattern, unless they wanted to cut the hairpiece themselves, which is a bit harder. So, I mean, I wouldn't mind if they were sold like that and it was just peel off the back and plant it down. I would shave that bit, because I just go, okay, well, that's what the industry is providing. I've just got to shave off a bit more natural hair, and that's the way you do it. So you'd only need about, I don't know, 5 different sizes per width. So this would be size 1A, and it goes 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, 1E, and that's it. And then there's 2, which is, but you wouldn't say 2, you'd say 6 inches A, and then you go 5 inches A, 4 inches A, and then anyone with a skull smaller than that probably doesn't need a hairpiece, because you can't see their head. Like a baby's probably there, and then it just your skull grows to this size. And if you've got a big one, you need maybe 6.5. I don't think there are that many people with 8-inch hairlines. So it'd be, I think one size could almost fit all. You don't want to stretch it, and you don't want to compress it, because you don't want wrinkles and corrugation happening. But yeah, I think these hair companies are making it harder than it is. Lace was almost like a prototype for this stuff, and V-loops are a prototype for what's yet to come, because V-loops are not the answer. Even though I couldn't think of anything off the top of my head what to do instead of a V-loop. It may be staggered V-loops instead of straight line V-loops that are just going in straight line, and then definitely don't change direction if you do that. Well, they do. So, and then of course they'd supply you with a kit of bleach, peroxide or something, right? So you can do this, like if your hair is dark, right? That's what you would get with it. If it's blonde, you don't need the bleach. But you might, if you've got dark blonde, you might still want to do that, so it really looks like it's coming out better. Because without that blonding there, this would be the wall of hair that was straight out of the box what it looked like. It was shocking. But this solves it. So, unless I begin my own fucking company, I'd recommend to these hair companies to pre-glue, sell it, even if you want to sell a kit, sell it with some Walker Ultra Hold or something, sell it with the C22 from Walker as well. Walker should be selling the hair pieces if they had their heads straight. They should be getting into the hair market. I don't know if they sell hair pieces, but what I'm suggesting here is they've got the glue side of it. They just ship in the poly from somewhere else and just box it up, make it like stamp the shit. I don't know, with the exact right amount of glue, so it's uniformly perfect. Then for touch-ups and reapplications, you have the extra bottle there, and with a little bottle of alcohol spray. That's all you need. Maybe a comb. And if you want, I don't need to provide scissors for you because most people can get their hands on some scissors. So yeah, that's, I think, the ultimate. I feel like these are closing remarks for a completed job now. But, you know, as I say, I've got to continue to see how this goes over the next few months. But at this point, 20 hours in, maybe a bit premature, but it seems like the answer. Next question is going to be get rid of double chins and so on, because you need to define that jawline, and, you know, you don't want to be fat. You don't want to be fat, you don't want to be bald. What's the other thing you don't want to be? Poor. If you've got no money, see if you can get your hands on it. Yeah, just walk around and take your little bicycle or whatever it is, or steal a shopping trolley, then go around to chuck-outs where people throw their furniture and stuff and their televisions and things away, and go to a rich area, pick up that stuff, take it in a trolley, and then go to your online, if you've got a phone or a computer, you've got some sort of camera, right? Take a photo of these items, make the photos nice, then sell that stuff. Don't steal anything. I'm just saying, when they put it on the next strip to be thrown away, because they can't be bothered dealing with it, pick it up, test it works, and if it does, then take good photos of it and sell it. Rich people don't like old stuff. Like, this plasma TV is 2 years old, we don't want it anymore. Just put it out in the nature strip, somebody will take it. That's you. You pick that thing up and then you sell it for $200, right? You sell 5 of those, buy a car, cheap car. Don't aim for a car that's priced at $1,000. Go for a car that's aimed at $1,600 or whatever. Then go, listen, I'm sorry I couldn't get the rest of the money or whatever, and then you buy that first car. And then you just do it up, fix the tires a bit or whatever you need to do. Spend $6 for some of that stuff that you put on paint to make it look nice again. And you put it on the internet again for $1,500. Now you made $500. Boom. So now you got $1,500. Then with the $1,500, go to some guys asking for $2,000 for his car and go, oh, listen, I haven't got the rest of the money. You might say, oh, my dying mother, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not saying you have to bullshit, but still, you can always whittle down the... No one's advertised their price at the price they expect. Always $200 less in the $5,000 and less kind of market. Always. People expect to get less than... That's why people say, I want $1,700 for my car. I want $1,200 for my car. I want $2,200 for my car. Because I want $2,000. I'm going to get that. It's $1,700. Alright? Maybe you can scrounge together that last $200 if you see that $1,700 car is worth $3,000 elsewhere. But check the market a bit, because sometimes people are overpricing their cars and they're not going to sell them at all. Okay, so there's your money problem solved. Okay, just keep doing that until you get $1 million, but start buying better and better cars. But people are more willing to buy $5,000 market cars faster. You might have to sit on a car that's worth $16,000 for a longer period of time. Okay, so there's money, hair, fat. Like, I'm gonna start doing the liquid thing. Takes a bit of discipline. You just can't. And the other thing is, you feel a sense of satisfaction from the amount of time you've gone without eating, and also your stomach shrinks. So that's the philosophy. Your stomach is, if you're a fat ass, the size of a basketball, and so you need that much food before you feel full. So it's going to start hurting when it starts getting down to the size of a fucking, I don't know, fairly large watermelon. Right? And you're, oh, I'm hungry again. Oh, 3 pieces. Oh, 5 milkshakes. Oh, better. Oh, now I feel good. right? I can't move, but you know. And then, but what you do is, if you have a liquid diet, the stomach goes, okay, well, we've got something in here, but it's not really holding my walls out very long, and it just shrinks back down again. But your brain's already been told, no, I've eaten, because you stuffed yourself with bloaty protein shakes and some soup and stuff. Okay, and then it shrinks down as you keep doing the liquid thing. Oh, something's trying to stretch out, but it doesn't really want to anymore because it's like going into the bladder. And so you end up diarrheaing your shit out. And then that's how you become thin. On top of that, you feel like you've got a bit more energy. You go for some walks. So diet shakes and soup for 6 months or something, and you'll lose it. Plus, if you go to for walks and you maybe lift something, don't have to exert yourself, maybe raise your blood pressure, but I do think there are some benefits in probably raising your, like pumping the blood. Come on, do it. Come on, get out of there. So you probably benefit from doing actual exercise, like working out. But if you don't feel like that, I fucking don't. Just get a little pair of pedals or something, put them in front of your couch and while you're watching TV or something. And also, as I said, also masturbate face down so you can really get into it. Come on, do it! Come on, get out of there! And then you just see the six-pack starting to grow a bit. So long as you can actually see your muscles. If it's still covered in a gelatinous blob of fucking all those pizzas and milkshakes you had, then yeah, you won't see. But you want to lose that weight. Walking doesn't hurt. Audiobooks. Listen, learn. Listen to interesting comedians trying to set up the comedy channel coming through your internet on your phone, and then just put the headphones in. Headphones are the answer to losing weight, I think, because then you can just walk around all over the place. And if it's too hot, do it at night. If you're a girl and I don't know, you're too scared of being raped or whatever, the gym is too much of a chore. You just join anything. I paid to be thin. I should be thin by now. What's happening? I paid every month. It doesn't work. You've got to actually get out and do it. Just walk around the block a few times. Just walk around your own block. When I mean block, I mean where your footpath, your sidewalk goes around the entire perimeter of all the houses that your neighbours with. Just do that 6 times and then go to bed, I guess. I'm going to have to start doing that. Because I see that my teacher, he runs an agency, and his guys are over in LA and stuff doing movies now. So impressing him, even if it's not him who chooses me, I'll still, I know he's got an eye for it, and he doesn't bullshit. He's a fucking sinister motherfucking cruel, honest, rip people apart bastard. So that means when I do get a compliment, and I can see when other people have done something good and they get compliments, he doesn't give them freely. So I think there's more of a future for marketability if I'm not. Jaffa's special cousin, you know. So yeah. Hair, teeth. If you've got a monobrow, get rid of that shit. Wax your back, wax your ass. Wear underwear that fits, I guess. Go to eBay. If you haven't got enough socks and underwear and you're constantly, oh, that socks don't match, but at least they're socks, right? No. Just go on to, just like bite the bullet and spend $200 on all the underpants and socks you'll ever need. And make sure they're all matching. That means if you pull any sock, it'll match the other sock. Throw out all the other socks. Give them to the poor. Give the other socks to the poor. Because they will never match, right? Why do you need more than 2 types of socks? Unless you've got your special lucky pair of socks. They're going to go in their special little cabinet. The rest of your socks can all be just fucking black or white. Whatever you need. Make sure they all match. Get rid of all the other socks. Buy them all at the same time, all at once. $100 worth of socks. Go, boom. Get all the Calvin Klein underwear you need. Just 3 packs. Like $7, $7. Get $100 worth of exactly the same underwear. Boom. I like these ones. Let's go. So you don't have to think about that stuff. That's another problem out of your life. Tick, check, check.
So, despite my excitement about this hairpiece, I'm just looking at this now. It's been 24 hours wearing the poly. the room I was in today had bright downlights and stuff, so they must have seen what I'm seeing now for the first time. Despite the fact that the poly colour of the hair melds in nicely, and I cannot see anywhere along here or here where there's any poly plastic. I can definitely see it along the front here, and I can see the pattern. The pattern's unnatural looking. Let's say that for a start. But there's a shine to it. And it's not a shine that's come from throughout the day, I don't think. I think it's simply there, and anybody with eyes could see that. You can't because you haven't got eyes, you've just got this little lens. And so I can change the colouring of my own skin just by doing that, right? So you obviously can't trust that lens to be in that process of be telling you exactly the colours and shine levels of things. And I don't even trust the autofocus there. But if you can see what I can see in this mirror, there's some definite shine going on up there. They asked me what was happening all over my body here. I said they're just lesions from my age, my AIDS. I look like I've got AIDS, but just because of the lesions, but also because of the bags in my eyes. I had Juvederm injections in there once. Sounds fucking vain of me, I know. But I was having these bags in my eyes for years. Sleep actually does help, sunshine and sleep. In terms of this poly holding itself on to my head, no problem. In terms of the hair colouring compared to my skin, no problem. It's the shine here. I can't see it there, and I can't see it there, but I can see it very clearly from there to there, right along the front there. Perhaps if I'd just brushed it sideways a bit at that point. The other thing, today, my hair flopped around a bit and started looking like this while I was in class. And you can see up there what's happening. So this is going to be a problem that I'm going to have to massively overcome. Ladies can still have these problems. Smoke. But what I'm saying is, this is the best you can achieve with poly, really. Because the hair is no longer a problem, but the poly itself is. I've overcome really the visibility of those awful V-knots in the wall of hair. But this is the bit that wasn't glued down properly, so I'm going to be able to lift that and show you a comparison. So that poly, can you see how shiny that is underneath? That's the shininess level I'm seeing here. So that's bad. And moving my eyebrows up and down, that thing's above the skin that flexes. That part up there has no muscles in it. In here we've got muscles, right? Somewhere, I know. But there are no muscles that allow me to do that. So I don't know why it's not happening here. It's as if the hairs are covering there. Yeah, I guess if I pulled the hair back in that way, that part would become shiny. So it's not because they're going sideways on it, really. But this part at the front is all being pulled away and it's leaving the poly right there. So this is a problem that I'm going to have to overcome. I put some makeup powder, some foundation, or whatever you call it, on top of that spot to try and cover that today. But then I realized it was on the poly itself and it was making the poly even more visible, so I had to just brush all that off. So foundation powder didn't, I don't know if it's called foundation powder, foundation I think is actually the stick of cream, or the cream, not the powder, but I don't know, girls have different names for lots of different types of makeup. I think it's just skin powder, I don't know. Anyway, it didn't hide that properly, and also it did cover that more, but it definitely stood out when it was on the poly. This light here tells the truth. Look at it. It's a beast of a light. Still, it doesn't give me all the illumination I need. It certainly doesn't give me the honest light that I'll be receiving in a room. So perhaps under normal lighting conditions at this distance, okay, I'll tell you when I can stop seeing the shine from the poly. Okay, I can see it. I can see it. That's right. This is the distance from here to here. See, that is how far away you are from me right now. Boom, 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 boom. About 60 centimeters away. I can still make out there's some kind of shine going on there. Now I can definitely see it. But maybe at this distance that you would stand from somebody, you can't tell. But it's not broad daylight coming through. I guess if I did that, shine, right? It might be the shine effect again. So my conclusion from that is, and from that, keep that covered. Whatever you're going to do back there, just make sure that's connected. Or just cut it deeper, which I might end up doing now that I know the trick. Physically speaking, I could pre-glue the back half, stick it on all the way back to where I want it to begin from, shave all of that. The thing is, I'll never have access to a 45-degree mirror. If I build one here, I won't have access to one anywhere else. But even now, the light's shining in my eyes too much for me to even be able to see my own reflection. I need a light on this mirror as well. And speaking of lifting things over my head, I'm going to start having to measure my... I wasn't using that anyway. Might as well use it as a fully body mirror. But I'll tell you something. Looking in my reflection, you can see how far the mirror is from me, right? I'll show you much. I'll show you me looking at myself in this reflection. I should be used to show you there. Okay, from this, the light's coming from there. I can't see the shine I was just describing to you. Okay. In this lighting, I can't see it either. In this lighting, I can't see it either. And in this lighting, I can't see it either. Right from... Because the lighting is simply not good enough here in this mirror for me to see that reflection. Therefore, only under sunlight and bright indoor lights from 50 centimeters away, I guess, can you see that shine. Gives me some confidence. Nevertheless, it is visible. So I don't pick the poly, but I must have taken the brush in my backpack to school with me. But hopefully don't wear the poly pulled back like I did at all times. Kind of let it hang a bit, and if you need to, just you can still expose some of the hairline and nobody will think anything, right? If you have a side style or something, hopefully. No, I can still see it again now, very clearly. It's also to do with the V-loops running in straight lines all the way along, like straight line, straight line, straight line, instead of a normal scalp. that's significant. So maybe I need to devise a hairstyle that doesn't include pulling it straight back. And the floppage that occurs, that messes up lace, that tugs on it, could occur here. But poly's got a seemingly much stronger hold than lace. Even though there's that shine problem, there's not ever going to be the knots problem. But with bleached knots, if you can get your hands on a company that will give you non-clothing dyed hair pieces, they could achieve bleach knots, and you can re-bleach them. I've still got these ones sitting here from yesterday. That's been 24 hours of bleaching. But I just know as soon as I wash them off, it's clothing dye, so it won't have made any difference whatsoever. They'll still be unbleached knots, and they're simply unusable. And I will have to try and send this monster back to my hair company, and despite what they said, they won't provide a refund. I mean, hopefully they will provide a refund, or give me hair that's got dyed knots, because that's just fucking stupid. Don't sell people unbleached knotted hair. That's a faulty product. And yeah, what do I have to inspect everything they send me so that it's actually a working product? Well, I'm not allowed to just trust that they've sent me something that works. Would that be crazy of me to do that? The product is designed to be cut and then put onto somebody's head. So I would have to not use the product and just go through a thorough inspection process under bright lights and place it over a porcelain bowl to inspect, like they should have done before they even sent it to me, before I can even know not to cut it. So I'd say even if you have cut the hair, they should give you a refund. I'm not saying you should take a little off cut. Here's what's left after I cut out the entire piece, and here's the off cut. Send me back a brand new one. No, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying clearly these have been designed and cut to my hair's specifications, and they're useless. Or if they've got the bleaching technology in their factory, it will be easier for me for them not to send me back an intact full hairpiece. These are already cut to my size. So they just use their technology to bleach these ones that I've got now. But I'm still stuck with that problem, but I knew that before I bought it, because that's the level of quality they provide. Knowing all the problems that causes. They sold it like that, despite that. But I could have gone with a different company and not had that problem. But I was loyal to them, see. So if they said, nah, we're sending it back to you unbleached, just the same way you gave it to us, because we're not gonna bleach it, or we're gonna keep it unless you send us money to send it back to you again. Well, then, what do they want then? So it'll just be absolute a campaign to destroy them, obviously. But yeah, if you wanted to keep your company in the game, word would spread that they had done the right thing by you, and then they've also written a letter saying, we promise we will never send. We didn't realise this was such a rife problem within our company. It was sending so many unbleached hair products out that were never inspected at all, or were inspected by people who have now been fired, hopefully. You'd say that in the letter, and you mean it, because they have been fired. Like, why did that person let so many hair pieces get sent out without inspection? Or the person who does the bleaching, if they're the ones bleaching it, they go, bleached enough, right? Hopefully they've been fired too. Anyway, I would hope that they just bleach them and send them back to me. I don't have the technology to bleach clothing dye off those things, but by the looks of things, they don't either. They've cut corners with the clothing dye, realised we can't bleach knots like this, but still we'll get money. Because they didn't used to use clothing dye. Bleach used to work on their products, and now it doesn't. That means they've switched to clothing dye.
I'm here to tell you right now, if they've gone full clothing dye on their hair products, I definitely don't want to use their company anymore. I already said I already told them, I think. That's the reason I left Hair Direct in the first place. So, any hair company, I'm warning all of you, if you have got a hair company that uses clothing dye, and they've sent you unbleached knots, or knots that aren't bleached well enough to actually look realistic, you might try to send it back to them, but they'll make you wait for weeks and then send you back the same shit, unchanged, wasting your time and making you go, oh, I'm freaking out here, and then you end up having to cut out what they've given you because you've got nothing, no other options, unless you go bald and then wear a hat to cover it up for months and just go insane from the psychological damage that their lack of service has caused you. But yeah, I mean, they would have to promise me that they're not going to ever use clothing dye again, not with me, not with any other customer, and I'll even have customers tell me what their experiences were with that company. That's just the way things have got to be. And there's also Google reviews. You should get on there if somebody does something that rips you off, and definitely write a bad comment. If they do something good, write a good comment. But I'm not sure if Google lets you edit your review after a few months. Like, you're right, initially I thought this company was fantastic back in 2017, but now, edit, they've changed to clothing dye and I will never use them again. And then 2019, edit, they've switched back to the original and they've reimbursed me for the losses that I suffered as a result of their cutting corners. And you know, they shouldn't have put us through this problem in the first place. I mean, the reputation of companies that use clothing dye have hopefully affected people, those companies, and they've gone out of business. But the problem is, those companies are cutting corners so much they can bring their prices down, and people might just buy it because they're all new people trying to start out. I wonder how many people buy hair products once and then never again. Maybe that's the reason they're able to try to get away with this. Because in terms of numbers, they'd still be getting the cashola from the people who don't know any different. They've saved bucks, they've given them what it looks like in the photograph, and then the people go, oh wow, wow, that's amazing, right? And then they go, oh, it looks like doll's hair, because these dead ant things on my head are showing through to everybody. They're like, oh well, I guess hair products don't work unless you brush it forward and cover that up. They don't know that it's possible to get completely bleached knots. In the case of poly, like I've shown you, I've proved to you, the knots must be bleached as well. And these aren't knots, but the joining parts need to fade in from light to whatever color it is, if it's anything darker than dark blonde. Because if it's dark coming straight out of the head, it doesn't look like it's coming out of the head. It looks like a bunch of V's going this all over the front, making a big fat wall of hair, because they haven't figured out a way to stagger. And for those of you, as I've said before, who say, oh no, you need it graduated. But the poly isn't graduated, is it? The plastic piece that goes across the forehead and comes back up. If there are V's sparsely spread throughout that poly in the beginning and then they get thicker, then you've got more poly exposed for people to see the shine on your head. So no graduation of poly. No, never. Would not work. You want the least amount of poly. If there's going to be poly, make sure there's hair on it, right? With lace, what are you saying? You have sporadic at the beginning hairs, so the lace is all seen on your forehead. At the top of your forehead, there's heaps of lace that's visible. You know that lace looks awful against skin, right? Unless there's hair to hide it. Lace doesn't If you think that lace is amazing, just grab a net of lace and just tape it or glue it, whatever glue you want, right there on your forehead. And just walk around. Don't do this, it's a little cheap. It'll make people know, right, straight away. Then you'll think the experiment was unsuccessful. What I'm saying is, lace, you just paste that onto there, paste it onto the back of your hand, just for a few days, and just see what happens. You think nobody will point out, what's that netting stuff that you've got stuck on the back of your hand? You think they won't notice? Of course they'll notice. Lace is visible. Poly is visible. The only thing that hides it is the hair that's coming out of it. So you can't have a field of graduated hairs. Because the lace, or the poly, doesn't matter what type of lace it is, well, it doesn't matter what type of poly it is either, unless the poly is somehow made to not have any shine to it. In which case you probably work down to there, but then you've got the folds in your forehead. I think the solution has got to be that the poly can't be shiny. And that's got to be possible. Just give me a matte finish poly. Is there a way to do that? Anyone got any suggestions to how to make poly that is already there not shiny anymore? Because the hold there is amazing. It's fantastic. The lines going through it, they're very, very light blonde now, so it looks much better. Well, I would have not been able to wear it at all, obviously. I did though, and I went, oh, holy shit, nobody looks up. Don't look up, don't let the wind go near your head. But today I walked around like this. Why? Because I figured out that if you dye the front hairline, the wall is no longer a barricade. It's more of a seamless fade. So all along there looks fine. All along there looks quite fine. But here we've got this shine thing going on. And the more I look at it, the less believable I think it looks. Okay. I'm still giving so many more pros to poly than lace at this point. Like, not least of all, getting out of the shower, going like that, and then going, oh, I don't have to pick anything out. Let's go. That's an amazing thing. The fact that you can peel it up, go, oh, just glue along there, glue along on the poly itself, and then just paste it down, and it's exact. No more fucking around. All my other videos show me going, okay, we're gonna do an extra layer here, just try to guess. Oh no, I went too far. Trying to scratch a fucking glue for fucking days, right? No, those problems are gone. Hey, hairline touch-ups are almost, so far from what I've seen, a thing of the past. For those reasons alone, poly is better. The V-loops were causing the issue predominantly, that stupid wall of hair. Still partially visible here at a certain distance, 50 centimeters or so. And maybe in bright lights for people outdoors and so on. But yeah, the shine of the poly won't be acceptable for much longer. I'm gonna have to keep working on how to fix that. Don't think I can. Absolutely bleached, knotted lace could still be the answer, but then the glue would shine through the holes. So can't use the glue I've been using. That's why I was looking for a different type of glue for so long, some glue that didn't shine. But there's no reason that glue needs to shine at all. And those advantages to being able to paint poly and just plunk it down, they win over lace. So trying to start with a blonde lace hairpiece and then try to dye your hair color over that blondness, that would have been option one before I knew about how thin and quite user-friendly poly is. So poly's gonna have to win. If you've got any problems with poly overheating your head, then I can imagine before you put it on, just puncture a few fork holes through it, maybe even after you put the glue on. Then you've got a few little sporadic holes where glue could get touching on the hairs and so on. But you just let that be. Like say there, you've made 40 holes. Like you got a four prong fork, and do that 10 times, right? Now you got 40 holes. Now you got 40 holes instead of 1,000 holes, like on lace. So less problem with the glue, right? But you're still getting there's little chimneys to let the heat out, so you don't die. Also a way for your little creatures who live underneath your hairpiece to escape and just go and live in a little nest on top of the poly, where they don't piss and shit all over you with acid and whatever that gives you E. coli or whatever the fuck lives underneath your hairpiece.
But yeah, like I said, I do think that this is totally reusable. You just scrape the barnacles off once every few weeks or whatever. Obviously your hair's going to be keeping growing underneath, and the glue will obviously degrade somehow, and this will probably start to lift as well. But the hold is the best I've ever had at this point. It's only 24 hours in, but there's no lifting, and I can run my hand clean up there. I'm not trying to get in there and just go hard and prove my theory correct, because I'm sure it'll start rolling up at the very tip. It's microscopic shit. Not microscopic. It's still very small, very low profile. So we're going to have to figure out a way to de-shine that poly surface to get this better. And the answer so far has not been to use that makeup powder, at least when it was the colour that it was. Perhaps a better colour could be blended between there and there. If I did that every morning as part of the routine and it was exactly going to fade in with my hair colour. And I don't think spray can of tan is going to work either, because that's not going to be the same as that at the end. Still be shiny. Anyway, whatever these shortcomings are, they're minor compared to the shortcomings of lace. I'm just now fine-tuning what I consider now to be the ultimate answer given today's technology and what I've seen available on the market. Now, there was a guy who commented and kept on saying, have you tried silicone yet? Have you tried silicone yet? Have you tried silicone yet? No, I haven't actually tried silicone yet. So maybe silicone actually has all these solutions built into it. Given that this is, I get 9. I get 9 out of 3 hair pieces because my stencil's quite small. For those of you who haven't seen my stencil, it is. That's the size of my current stencil. So my hair's that big. That's how big my hair pieces are. So I can fit 3 of those onto a hair piece. That gives me 1/3 the price that everyone else is paying if they have a full crown and cap or whatever. Full cap, I think it's called. I still don't know the answer is to that. The crown might just be that, right? Receding hairline is like that. Both of those, you wouldn't need the dome shape, so I don't know why they keep making everything domey, right? And then I would say a full cap is like that. But I think there are also people who've got, I don't know, some kind of hair loss disease that is not male pattern baldness. Those other people who are balding would also need hair pieces. I don't know, alopecia or I don't know what these things are. And maybe even, you have to have chemotherapy and you need a wig. And you need a wig with sideburns that looks better than a wig. I can imagine there'd be hair pieces made for that. And also, whatever that guy in England has, I think it's like alopecia, like I said, that comedian from Little Britain. He doesn't even have eyelashes or anything, so I think he must, the thing is, that's how cool this stuff is, right? If I didn't have eyebrows and I had a problem with growing eyebrows, I'd still use this stuff and make it like this. I think you could probably even use this stuff as pretty good eyebrows. I know you could use it as a beard or a mustache, so you definitely should be able to use it with eyebrows. And imagine trying to peel it up from here. So if you had that shine all the way around the perimeter, it would start getting quite visible, in which case maybe you'd start thinking I need a lace piece. But look at the density of sideburns. It is super heavy duty. I think my sideburns have always been heavy. Anyway, I'm talking too much shit. I'm just going to publish this now. If you've got any comments on how to make the poly better than it already is, or you've got any comments about silicone, or an alternative that's not lace, or some super lace that's not going to let glue through. Because if you don't know about the glue coming through in summertime through lace and making everybody go, oh my god, what's that bright shit coming off your forehead? and it's dribbling down, and you're going to worry about it every single time you have a shower, well then you don't know much about lace in summertime. Or you've got some magical glue that doesn't have any shine to it, but still holds. Maybe you've always been using some glue that is water-based, and you've been waiting for 24 hours after a reapplication, and you've never used acrylic. I've heard people just use the term clear glue instead of white glue. Is it because you're so uneducated in knowing that this is acrylic-based and the other one's water-based? So we're saying the words clear and white? Because that sounds a little bit kindergarten-y for my liking. If you mean acrylic when you say clear, let me know, because it sounds confusing that everyone's using new different terms. That's an acrylic glue, and like the white ones, I guess, that turn clear, like Next Gen or Ghost Bond, they're water-based. So maybe you are saying that that's clear and the other one's white. Maybe that's the way you talk. But it makes it seem like there are 4. But there are 2, right? Acrylic and water-based. They're the 2 types. This is the strongest holding glue of them all. Am I not right? Also, probably the shiniest of them all. Every other acrylic glue I've ever tried has been weaker than this. And every other white glue, every water-based glue I've ever tried has been weaker than every type of acrylic glue I've tried. So if you found a water-based glue, a white glue, that's actually stronger than one of these acrylics, oh yeah, you just gotta let it cake on for 24 hours and put on 17 layers of the shit and just wait up. You know, I don't know. Sounds like a nightmare. I put on 1 layer of this, put the hairpiece on, even when it was lace. Just wait 15 minutes for that to dry. Put the lace piece on, put the poly piece on. Though you probably put the poly piece on without waiting 15 minutes, go, alright, we'll dry later while I'm walking down the street. Or just jump in the shower. And it doesn't matter. Just waiting 24 hours, anyway, you've heard me say it, 24 hour wait before you have a shower, or just can't, it sounds ridiculous. I don't know why you're going to do it. Oh yeah, but it's natural, it doesn't make your skin, I don't care. I care a bit, I'm just really fucking tired. But I'm really very happy with the results. This is probably, like I said, the best hairpiece I've ever had. For a lot of reasons. Finding that shine just now. But you know, I'm leaning right into the fucking mirror. But a camera's going to be leaning right into the fucking face more than I'm leaning in. It'll go close up on the eyeball and go, oh, wait, what's that? Right? So, it has to look good on camera. I guess John Travolta had a big camera stuck in his face, that's why you could see that netty on the top of his forehead. So, I don't want that problem. So, please, any advice you've got. This is the best I've ever seen. If you've seen better, with silicone or other thing, please let me know. But don't just tell me I know what it is. Provide the link. Thank you.